And here comes Milo. Big run out of 4. He's going to be there.
Tristan Martin's there. Cannot count out the 37.
Oh! Cabot, where did he come from? Here comes Zwack.
A punch for the 33.
It's a drag race.
The Magic Man wins in an Auto Club.
Sailor Tarot Magic is the spot to get a reading from Sally, an intuitive healer and tarot reader, known as the Nurturing Reader at New Jersey street fairs. You can also check out our YouTube channel for lunar and astro readings, as well as our Instagram for live weekly readings. Her rates are affordable, and you will leave with a newfound perspective. Sally is now offering an introductory class on tarot cards and intuition, and is available for parties. Call or text 732-314-0777 to schedule your reading today.
BTDY Contender Series live tonight, Richmond Motor Speedway for the Sailor Tarot Magic 200. 200 laps, race 15 out of 20. VSPEED going to bring you live flag-to-flag coverage here on YouTube. Welcome into the stream, everyone. Epidemic, see you out there. Good luck tonight, 19. Good luck, everybody here tonight. Little short track racing. It's going to be a handful out here. Track's going to cool down. We are at late evening right now in this time of day. By the time we get mid-race, the track will be completely dark, and some of these guys will shuffle through the field, get that grip change, track will rubber up, but we're getting ready to grid here. We're lining up the front of the field. All right, so let's take you through your grid. Anthony Pelican going to start on the pole with a 21.996. And it's no surprise, Alex Pelican right on the outside. What is surprising, though, Alex Pelican about 0.2 of a second off of the pole sitter. So we're going to see maybe Alex run away, or Anthony run away with this a little bit. I don't know. We'll get through it, though. In the second row, it's going to be Dennis Faircloth and Jeremiah Vincent. Very close lap times to those two cars. Third row is going to be Kyle McGarvey and Nick Gardner. Seventh position, Kevin McGarvey. Cody Atkins going to be on his outside in 8th. Ninth spot, Eric Lambert, Justin Carey in that top 10. Daniel Cunningham, Timmy Emanuele in 12th. Take you through the blimp camera real quick as we try to get everything lined up correctly. There we go. There's the blimp camera. All right. Moving on through the field here. Alan Dice going to start 13th. Kyle Payne, 14th position. And rounding out your field will be the 40 of Robert Gilmore. So 15-car field here tonight. Let's get up there to that 98, your pole sitter. He's been having a stellar season. And it's almost a guarantee when one of the Pelican boys is having an off race, one of the two will definitely be up there at some point. So there's your pole sitter here tonight. And the 98 leading the points this season. Coming in here with a lot of confidence. But we haven't seen too many short tracks. And we have a road course next week. So there's a handful of things that could go on here. Late in this season, pace car takes 2 laps around here, this short track. Pretty easy to get through it. War Bovine. Good to see you in here. Overwhelming lap speed only matters if they can keep it green. Well, we're going to find out. We've got kind of a smaller field here tonight, so I think the odds are pretty high that we can keep it clean and green. But we all know what turn 2 wall is like here. That sneak up on you real quick. Even with that safer barrier, it still hurts. Pace car's getting ready to pull off here. There goes down pit road. We're getting ready to go green. VSPEED bringing you live flag to flag. Geico restart zone, and there we are live at Richmond. Sailor Tarrant Magic 200. Already shooting down into turn 1. Anthony Pelican getting out to a good jump. The 80 of Faircloth gets a little loose behind him. Faircloth, Alex Pelican side by side into 3 and 4. Faircloth is going to lose a little ground. 31's able to clear him on the outside and pull away. Now we've got the 9 trying to crack the top 3. Jeremiah Vincent was peeking inside for just a moment there. All the way down to the yellow line, and Faircloth struggling a little bit here. Now he's got the 42 right up on his bumper. I tell you what, Faircloth's falling fast. Did not predict this. He starts up front, second row, and now he's in the outside wall. That car is not handling properly. The 16 of Nick Gardner goes by. Now he's got the 00 behind him. Faircloth falls all the way back to the 6th position from where he started up there in 3rd. And he's got another car peeking to the inside. McGarvey looks down to the bottom. Thought he was going to take it in 1 and 2, but he backed off for a second there. Wide angle camera here, brought to you by Simulators Anonymous. BTDY Contender Series is on race 15 of this season. You have no iRacing audio. Well, that is excellent. Let's see if we can fix that. Let's find out. Everything reset here. How about now? Do we have audio now? Microphone's working, right? Okay. Let's see if we got it now. Let's see if we got her fixed. I think we have audio. I think we're good. I'd like to thank OBS software for randomly just deciding that my headset's no longer my default. So we do sound checks, we do pre-race, we run through a million things that we're supposed to do before these races start, and you still miss things. It's just a list, a checklist. It's so long. Sometimes But the show must go on. Dennis Faircloth seems to have leveled out. Now let's go back up here to your leader. That is a really close camera angle. Got right up on the door. You can almost see inside that machine. The 98 of Anthony Pelican. 0.3 of a second ahead of Alex Pelican. And the 9 of Jeremiah Vincent running in third. Hasn't quite let these guys out of his sight. And I think the 19 might have started from the pits. He's being scored as a lap down. I don't know if he missed the grid altogether. But Eric Lambert, 1 lap down, 11 laps into this race. I saw a car in between these two, and I was kind of confused. Field single filed out a lot. OBS just trying to keep me on my toes. Well, they've succeeded today. I tell you, he's really on his toes right now. Alex Pelican, he's trying to catch the 98 of Anthony, and it's gap's just getting bigger and bigger. Have a camera on with Alex Pelican here. You can see they're both driving about identical lines, but he's still losing ground. Actually, Jeremiah Vincent's caught up to both of these guys more. And I would say Jeremiah Vincent's probably going to be on the inside of the 31 within the next 2 or 3 laps if he can hold it together. This machine a little tough to handle after 15, 20 laps. It starts to get really tight on the exits. Vincent's really bearing it down early in that corner. All the way down to the yellow line before the 31 even gets there. 31's taking a late apex, and I think the 9 probably going to burn up the right front here before too long. So if he's going to get by the 31, he needs to do it soon. You can see there he overshot it just a little bit, gave all that ground back. And then quietly sitting back here in the 4th position has the lap car of Lambert in front of him. Tom McGarvey's been sitting in about the same spot as he started this race. 42 machine looking really good. Behind him, Nick Gardner in that 16. This guy's been having a phenomenal season as well. These guys starting to creep up on the outside wall a little bit. You can see the getting tight off of turn 2. I'm surprised we haven't seen any wall riders yet. We saw Faircloth dabble a little bit, but not where you would typically see. It was in the entry of the corner. Right side of that machine still looks pretty clean. Give me an idea of how much this field is spread out. We go all the way back to the 40 of Robert Gilmore. He's coming out of turn 3 and 4. Then the 98, Anthony Pelican. He's going into 4 now. So we've got cars wrapped all the way around this place. Even with just 15 cars, the track looks full. And that gap is getting a little bit bigger every lap. Only a tenth or so, but 0.7 of a second now between the 98 and the 31. And Anthony Pelican putting this thing on rails. He knows what he needs to do this season. We got a car headed down pit road here to figure out who that was. No idea. Might be the 68 of Payne. He's actually stopped on pit road. So Kyle Payne, unexpected stop. He's 2 laps down now. Not sure what's going on with the 68. But he's about to go another lap down. I'm not sure if he got a penalty or if he had an unexpected deal with the vehicle. 3 laps down now for the 68 and 15th. Lambert needs a caution if he wants to get back on the lead lap. This guy's been struggling here very early in the race, and it's better to have these mistakes or these accidents early on. Gives you more time to recover from them. And as you can see, the 19's up to speed. He's maintained that 3rd spot, technically faster than the 42 of McGarvey and able to maintain that position. But a yellow flag would put him back on the lead lap, give him an opportunity to go up here and race with some of these guys. Right now, as it sits, 24 laps into this thing. Go back and check on Justin Carey, who started in the 10th position. He's got the 5 of Alan Dice looking to the inside, though. They've been peeking back and forth for a couple laps. And a pass right in front of the 21. The 8 of Atkins goes around Daniel Cunningham. Cunningham really checking up there. Thought the 21 might get into him, but that opened up the door for the 5 of Dice, and Dice is going to go on by into the top 10. So these guys about 8th through 10th position, racing really tight. Atkins starting to make up a little ground, though. Pull away from this pack. Dice is getting ready to pick off another one. Alan Dice in the 9th position now. Gets around Cunningham. Justin Carey following suit. So Cunningham struggling a little bit here tonight. Unusual for the 54 Rowdy machine. He's usually up there in the top 5, but I'm sure after a few more laps, he'll figure it out. He's always had long run speed. He knows how to save his tires. We're not counting him out yet. Back up here to your leader. Lead has shrunk just a little bit. 98 seems to be maintaining that 0.6 to 0.7 gap. Jeremiah Vincent sitting about 2 seconds back in the 9 machine. And tell you what, the field is spread out so tremendously, it's kind of hard to find a battle on the speedway. We still have the 5 of Dice and Cody Atkins are pretty close together. Alan Dice been picking them off one at a time. Had a great race last week, top 5 for the 5 machine. Homestead was good to him. But here we are tonight, he's chasing another one. Currently being scored in the 9th position. Started 13th. He's picked up 4. A lot of work to get up to that leader, though. 8.4 seconds separating him and Anthony Pelican. So let's check in with Dennis Faircloth. I know that we don't usually put the camera on him. It's seems to be a curse of the camera for the 80. But Faircloth is leveled out. He's sitting in the 6th spot, about 2 seconds ahead of, I believe that's Kevin McGarvey in the 00. You can see Lambert starting to fall back a little bit more. And I can hear some cars starting to clip that wall. And I think it's most likely happening in the exits of these corners. Cars getting tight. Fuel's getting lower. Tires are getting worn out. If they're hitting it by 34, imagine what's going to be happening. There's a clip on the wall in the 80 right there. Imagine how this thing will handle on lap 70, lap 80. Some of these guys went out here pretty deep. And I think they're starting to struggle a little bit. It's right on board with the 5 of Alan Dice. He was trying to catch up to the 8 of Cody Atkins. Atkins has started to pull away. He's caught up to the 00 of McGarvey. We might have a battle on our hands here momentarily. Nick Gardner working his way up through. He gets around the 42. Put him up to P4. He now needs to chase down this guy right here. Coming out of turn 2. Pretty sizable gap. 3 seconds back to Nick Gardner in the 4th spot, but still a lot of racing left to be done. I see the 9 car finishing in the top 3. He's got a top 3 machine. He just has to be perfect on pit road. Nick Gardner will make you pay for mistakes. We've seen it time and time again. These dialed-in guys just get it on and off pit road so much faster, and when these races go green, especially all the way through, it really shows you who is better at doing that, who is better at timing their strategy and all getting in there clean, not missing their stall. There's so many things that can go wrong, and the 98, 31, 16 have just done it a little bit better than everybody else on average. A lot of these guys have cleaned it up, though. I've seen a lot of improvements. Some of these guys have talked about, finishing outside the top 10 the first 3 races and turn around have back-to-back weeks in the top 5. It's excellent to see, but again, anything can happen, and anything has happened. We've seen the 98, the 31 get into each other. It happened at Vegas. It happened at Pocono. Sometimes it can end one of their days really early. And I tell you what, you're seeing these tires wear off 1.2 seconds. Just a moment ago, we were talking about 0.6. Now it's over a second gap back to second position. Anthony Pelican really using that clean air to his advantage now. And Alex has fallen back quite a ways. He's not quite in the clutches of 3rd yet. But Jeremiah Vincent smells blood. He's hungry, and here he comes. You can see how much lower the 9 of Vincent is running on the entry of the corners. That does seem to be helping him initially into the corner, but on the exit, the 31 with that late apex is driving off and probably able to maintain a little bit better throttle control when it comes to sliding towards that outside wall. I think he'll have a better chance of not getting into it. The 9's going to have to be careful. We're talking about tires and how long these boys are going to run. We're talking about a 100-lap segment, possibly. Make it a one-stop race. That's a lot of laps on tires, even at a short track. So Anthony Pelican leading it for the first 43 laps here today. Lap 44 is not going to be any different. Started first, he's in first. And another dominant performance by the 98. Phenomenal job here today. We've seen BTDY Contender Series races dominated by the 98 team. We thought Homestead was like the pinnacle of what he could do, what he was capable of pulling off. But here again tonight at Richmond, he's led the first quarter of this race. And you can see he's not fighting that machine at all. I'm not wishing a yellow on anybody, but it does spicing things up a little bit, Bovine. Sometimes when that yellow comes out, get some of these guys back in the lead lap. We're talking about a few different guys that are a lap down. Right here, we've got the 19 Lambert, and he's having a hard time today. Started off early, went a lap down. Within the first 5 laps, he's been praying for a caution from the beginning. We've got the 40. Robert Gilmore. He went down a lap at about lap 30. And some of these guys just got to get their legs back under him, you know? A little left side damage on that 40 machine. Not sure where he got that from. That might have something to do with him being a lap down. Some of the speed knocked out of that Simulator's anonymous machine. But lap 50 coming up, and this guy about to lead it. Lambert qualified and just fell off the horse. Happens to the best of us. But your top three, we've got the Anthony Pelican, the Alex Pelican, and Jeremiah Vincent. All within about 3 seconds of each other. 3 seconds back is the 16 of Nick Gardner coming out of turn 2 now. Kyle McGarvey in the 42. He's running 5th place right now. 7 seconds back, about a second back from Nick Gardner. And then Dennis Faircloth, who had some issues very early, got passed on the inside, got stuck up there. He's still in the 6th position, but he's checking his mirror. He's got the 8 of Atkins, the 5 of Dice. And Audi, they just don't get it in the body shop, I guess. And there it is. Yellow flag is out. Lap 53. Let's figure out where it was on the racetrack. Yellow flag comes out. I don't know exactly where it is. We're looking for a car that might be a little banged up. Let's just hit the instant replay button. Oh, man. So caution number 1 comes out, and we got a quick click on it there. The 40 of Robert Gilmore comes off of turn 2, clips the outside wall, sends it straight down to the inside. Run into that machine, very banged up as it was. We've got a yellow for the first time today. Here we come. Yellow pit stops, and we've got the 98, Anthony Pelican electing to pit. Alex Pelican, the 80 of Faircloth. A lot of takers down pit road this time. Race off pit road. 98's going to win it. 16, and Nick Gardner almost beats Vincent out. That was close. Gardner almost beat the 31 of Pelican and the 9 of Vincent. Zoomed right out of there in that Celsius machine. There we go. We've got our timing screen working again. Now we can see telemetry for all these guys. Some of this stuff was not working when the session changed. I've had a few minor issues with ATVO, things that I can override, but you know, nothing beats OBS completely turning off my audio. That was top 10 right there. And of all the mistakes we've made so far, I think they're pretty minor, but so speaking of top 10, we've got Dennis Faircloth falling all the way back to 10th position after those pit stops. He was struggling early. Began the day in 3rd position. Has fallen back. He's about halfway through this field and We get set to double up here. Dennis Faircloth gonna have to rebound. That's unusual too. We saw the 8. He was up there towards the front. He's got a little right side damage now, so some of these machines were probably getting really tight. Guys started to clip the wall. I would say I'm surprised, but I'm not. We were predicting that. We were talking about it pre-race. We knew it was a possibility. But this is great news for the 19 team. Eric Lambert back on the lead lap as we get set to go green. Pace car getting ready to pull off. I think the 19 is going to have something for a top 10. Restarting here in 12th position. So the 98, Anthony Pelican electing to start on the outside. Not sure if this is the best choice or not. He's going to have the advantage of the restart zone to take off, but we saw what happened to Faircloth. We saw what happened to a couple other guys. Garvey was one of them. Get pinned up there on the outside, you can lose a couple spots really quick if you're not good on the entry of your corner in these cold tires. But here we go. Pace car's pulling off.
Green flag, green flag.
Green flag is out, and there he goes. These guys made a huge mistake. They let all 3 of these dialed-in boys get up towards the front. 16 and Nick Gardner going to try to hold off Jeremiah Vincent. Almost beat him out of pit road. He beats him here on the restart. Down to the inside, in the 16, into the wall. Yellow flag is out. 9 car, Jeremiah Vincent sends it down to the inside of Nick Gardner, and I believe there was a little bit of contact. Caution number 2 on lap 61. You can see it right here. The 9 car goes to the inside and just sends it a little too deep. The 9 of Gardner, or 16 of Gardner, probably didn't know he was coming in that hot. We were riding on the bumper camera, which is destroyed on this 16 machine, but let's see if we can get some footage. We'll back it up one more time. The caution number 2 comes out on lap 61, and it's the 9 and the 16 running for 3rd position here. 16's got tremendous rear end damage, and tell you what, that one there, that one goes down to short track racing. And so it begins. 16 probably going to elect to come down pit road and get some of this damage patched up. I'm not sure. He's staying out. He might not be aware that the back of that car is that messed up. But he's missing an entire backplate on the rear of that Arctic Vibe machine. He's going to race up here and ask his teammates what his damage looks like as they get a good look at it. 16 knows he's toast for the night. He's going to pull it down to the apron, probably getting ready to pit. The problem with tracks like Richmond is it's so quick for the pace car to get around. So you don't have a lot of time to repair your damage after you hit your pit stall. You almost have to turn off your tires, turn off your fuel, and let them instantly go to work on that machine. If you have over a minute worth of damage, you're most likely going to end up a lap down pretty quickly. Takes about 40 some odd seconds to get around this place under pace. 21 seconds under green. But all right, we're getting ready to line them back up. We had 3 down in boys up towards the front. Now we're back to 2. Alan Dice and that 5 up in the top 3. All right, we're getting doubled up. We've seen all these different cars working their way up into the top 3, but so far the consistency of the 98 has just prevailed. Let's see if we can get a recovery from Nick Gardner, the 19 of Lambert. Some of these guys that have had problems early. We're not even at halfway yet. '98 of Anthony Pelican electing to start on the inside this time. Pace cars off.
Green, green,
Geico restart zone. We're back live for the 3rd time tonight. Anthony Pelican again wasting no time, gets right up into his line. But Alex Pelican, hold on, right on the bumper this time into 3 and 4. Alan Dice overshoots the landing a little bit. That allows the 42 to get to the inside. Thought that McGarvey was going to make a pass on the 5 of Dice. A little loose in a wiggle off of 2. Dice is just trying to find some speed and get up past Alex Pelican, but that opened up the door when he overshot that corner. And now we got the 80 of Faircloth. Looked like he almost brushed the wall out of 4. That was a close one for the 80 machine. Running in 5th place right now. Side by side, 21 a carry back here, looking to the inside for a moment. Wow, did the 80 of Faircloth get a run? He's up on the outside now. I thought Faircloth overshot the turn. He just got one hell of a run coming out of 2. Faircloth looking strong now as we get closer to the halfway point in this race. He's trying to pass on the outside of the 42. .42 goes up and takes that line away from the 80. Gonna make that machine a little bit tight on the exits. Faircloth says, I'll move it up another lane higher. Get a late apex. Here he comes, right up on the bumper of the 42 now. Momentum kind of swinging in both directions for the 80 right now. I thought we were going to have a battle shape up. The 5 of Dice is starting to pull away a little bit, but these guys right here, the 31 and the 98, they're just in their own time zone already. Almost a second ahead of Alan Dice as they come off of turn 2. That clean air is such an advantage for this 98 machine. There's not even any debris on the front windshield of this car. He's kept it clean all the way through. So far, we've run 74 laps for the Sailor Tarrant Magic 200 at Richmond. And this guy has done it faster than everyone else tonight so far. 3rd spot, Alan Dice. Excellent run for him thus far. Just got to seal the deal. A lot of cars behind and want to take this position away. We've seen the 42. Oh, 42 into the wall a little bit for just a second on the exit. Might be pushing that machine just a little bit too hard. So for those of you that don't know, today's my birthday, so I'm glad to be spending this celebration with you here on VSPEED. If you guys like what you see, if you like what you're hearing, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Like, share, follow. Pretty simple buttons. But as far as analytics go, you guys are the reason that we do what we do. We wouldn't be anything without you, so we appreciate you. Tomorrow night, make sure to tune in as the BTDY Premiere Series goes live at Richmond. And that will be at 8:30 Eastern Time. I know everybody's mixed up with the time change. I'm still trying to adjust to it. But this time through, man, 31, Alex Pelican able to hang with the 98, and I think we're going to see a little bit different battle. 98 has clean air, as before, but the 31 has learned how to work around that line. And he's not pushing it quite the same this time around. Thank you, Bovine. We made it another year. We survived. "31 of them. 31 years. Feels like yesterday I was just graduating high school. I don't know. I don't know how to feel about it. But we're coming up on lap 81 here. I think we've seen a lot of action thus far. Some cars clipping the wall. Two yellow flags. But 0 lead changes. It's been an eventful one. We're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we will do the remaining half of this race uninterrupted here on VSPEED.
Sailor Tarot Magic is the spot to get a reading from Sally, an intuitive healer and tarot reader, known as the Nurturing Reader at New Jersey Street Fairs. You can also check out our YouTube channel for lunar and astro readings, as well as our Instagram for live weekly readings. Her rates are affordable, and you will leave with a newfound perspective. Sally is now offering an introductory class on tarot cards and intuition, and is available for parties. Call or text 732-314-0777 to schedule your reading today.
BTDY Contender Series brought to you by Simulators Anonymous. The Sailor Terran Magic 200 still under green here at lap 88. We're riding right now with the 9 machine of Jeremiah Vincent. He's been battling really hard. The 80 of Dennis Faircloth running the high line here tonight. I'll tell you what, the 80 might want to reconsider that line. He's losing a lot of ground and he's getting really close to that wall. Justin Carey peeking to the inside for just a second there. Carey's running in the 7th spot. Faircloth moves it down a lane here. He was getting a run on the 9 of Vincent, but every time he would get on the back straightaway, he would lose a ton of time, and I think that high line's just not quite bled into this track yet. We'll see as the race progresses. Maybe lap 150 or so, these guys will be able to do that, but right now it's just not worked in. The groove's not there. And we've got about approximately 20 laps or so on our tires from the last time these boys have pitted. 28 or so for the 9. So there's that factored in as well. You see the 42 way up the track here, opens up the door for the 9. This is for 4th position. Jeremiah Vincent drag races him down the backstretch, but I think inevitably the 9's going to do this slide job right here. And he's able to clear him. The 5 of dice back to Justin Carey in the 21. 3rd through 7th, right on top of each other. We'll go back to Nick Gardner. We'll check in with him. He had that accident earlier in this race. 2nd caution of the night. The 16 has recovered a little bit. He's up to 8th spot now. But the most major recovery that we could talk about tonight, the 19 of Eric Lambert up into the top 10, was being scored a lap down in 15th when we started this thing. Massive recovery for the Veterans Days Simulators Anonymous machine. Guys that have been having really quiet races. 39, Timmy Emanuele. We haven't talked much about him tonight. He's the last car on the lead lap in 13th right now as we come up on the halfway point. Emanuele is known for saving tires or having an extra set, pitting a little bit later, or short pitting. He pulls all kinds of strategies out. But here tonight, with the cautions flying, I think that doesn't work into the strategy of Emanuele as much. So he's going to have some time to figure this out. Still have another half of this race to go. Maybe in the second half he can turn this thing around. But right now, last car on the lead lap, 10 seconds away from Anthony Pelican. He's about half a lap from going a lap down. A lot of work to do. Daniel Cunningham, kind of a shocker here for the 54, the Rowdy Energy Machine. We've seen him up in the top 5 countless times this season. Right now, not even in the top 10. It's an unfortunate struggle for the 54, but not everybody can be up there here tonight. And I know that the 54 team is outside looking in on the points right now. This is just one of those tracks that you're going to have to bite the bullet. Maybe not one of his favorite places to drive at. So just outside the top 10, we have the 00 machine. That's Kevin McGarvey, and we've seen this car in and out of the top 10 a few times tonight. He was really battling hard with Jeremiah Vincent and Alan Dice there earlier in the run. But an up and down night for Kevin McGarvey. So this is a look at outside the top 10. I know there's not a lot of these guys in here tonight that are outside of it, but when the field's this small, it's tough to keep your patience about you. You feel like there's nobody to pass you and you've got everyone in front of you, which is essentially what's happening. A couple cars that are pretty much done for the night. We've got the 40 machine of Robert Gilmore, who's not being scored on the track anymore, and then the 68 of Kyle Payne. Both those drivers off of the track now, taking it behind pit wall for mechanical failures. So checking in with their leader, 7 tenths now as he comes off of turn 4. Anthony Pelican started first, has led all 100 laps that we've turned here tonight at Richmond. And it's a long ways back to the rest of the field for the rest of these guys. You've got Alex Pelican in a relatively close second place. If you want to put it in perspective, this is close because third place back here to Alan Dice, who's under fire now from the 9 of Vincent. He has his hands full, and that 9 car really burying it down in the corners. Had that little mishap there with the 16, but he's since recovered from it. And he's looking at the podium right now. Way lower than everybody else on the entries, and he's making that machine work.
Should be a caution. Caution's out.
And we've got a
Still
yellow
looking
flag
for
out on the
Jesus. Still
track.
good.
I hate to say who it is, but I'm going to have to give you an instant replay. Caution number 3 out on the track at 105. Let's see if we can find this exactly. I believe it's the 80 of Faircloth. Gets a little touch there. A little help on the backstretch exiting 2. Able to keep it off the wall, though. Back up another 15 seconds here. I think this is just an instance of Nick got a little bit earlier on the throttle, and the 80 car wasn't able to do that. So caution number 3. Here we come off of pit lane. Faircloth was up in the top 10 for that accident. 16 of Nick Gardner also getting rear-ended by the 9, or the 8 of Cody Atkins, who does have a little bit of front-end damage now. Mistakes were made, though. Short track racing, that's bound to happen. These guys right on top of each other. You got a lot of braking that goes into the entries of these corners. And it's all about timing on the throttle. Sometimes a guy has a little bit fresher tires, or maybe he's a little more confident with how the track is running, and he's just able to get back to it a little bit sooner. The guy in front of him is not on the same page, and that's what happens. Or you have a couple of different lines. You saw the 9 of Vincent earlier in this race, ran really deep into the corner. Got below the 16, who was not prepared for that, came in on his same entry and got a little too low. They made contact. So there's been a couple different instances here tonight where, you know, just different tires, different lines haven't meshed well. We're not seeing the end of it either. 108 out of 200, so plenty of time for these mistakes to be made and some of these tempers to start flaring. Tell you what, when I run side by side with a guy for 100 laps, my temper starts to boil over.
Green flag.
Green flag is out. We're live for the fourth time here tonight. And does anybody have anything for Anthony Pelican? He's just so good on these restarts. The 5 car of Dice now looking to the inside of Alex Pelican all over the bumper now is Jeremiah Vincent, though. We had a peek to the inside. I thought Kevin McGarvey was going to get one. He's been trying to crack into that top 4 here for a minute. He peeked down low on the 9. There's another little peek for a second. 19 picking up some spots now. Eric Lambert gets by the 00. They're still side by side going into 1 though. Emanuele down to the inside of Faircloth, side by side out of 2. Emanuele's going to pick up 2 of them, cracks the top 10 here. Vincent gets around Alan Dice. Now he's in P3. He's going to try to chase down the 31 of Alex Pelican. I don't know if Vincent has anything for him, really. It seemed like he got really far behind on that last run. It's going to take a lot of work here to catch these Pelican brothers. 5-car of Dice seems to be fading out a little bit. That gap got pretty big between him and the 9. And relatively quickly, 0.5 of a second almost. So again, this series presented by Simulators Anonymous. You can learn more at the link below right there in the chat if you guys are curious as what these guys do. A lot of them are here in the chat. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. But a great group of guys as we go around and check out some of these Simulator Anonymous machines out here on the track. There's a few different ones out here. But back up to the front, 0.2 of a second, 3 now, and Anthony Pelican 118 out of the 200 led through this race, and I think someone's just going to have to give a chrome horn to get this 98 out of the way. The 31's going to have to get him really good on a restart and just go down in the corner, move him. I don't foresee anybody touching him. If he gets out of their reach in the first lap, he just runs away. We're talking about the biggest lead being 1.7 seconds before that first caution. And Anthony Pelican's just kind of picking and choosing when he's going to start on the outside, inside, clean air, no air, pit road. He's just doing whatever he wants to do here tonight, when he wants to do it. He wrote the book, everybody else is reading it currently here at Richmond, and kudos to him. If you put it in the lap times, if you put in the track time and practice this place, those are the kind of rewards that you're going to come up with. 31, Alex Pelican, no slouch though this season. Close points battle when we started off. It's kind of feathered down a little bit, but Alex is still in contention. He needs to get some wins here. This is one of those nights that Alex is probably tired of seeing the back end of that 98, but he's still running in the second position. Excellent day for him thus far. The 9, we've seen him in and out of the top 3. We've seen some accidents. We've seen him running really close to the leaders. Currently 1.1 seconds back from Anthony Pelican. And you can hear that 9 car is revved up. It's got the power. These tires on this stint, everybody's on about the same tires now. 17 laps on them. So not a massive advantage. The 9 kind of had a little bit younger tires compared to the rest of the field at one point. He was able to work his way up into the top 3, but now as it sits, I think he's just kind of going to be stagnant. Not a lot of movement for the 9 until we get to, if we do have green flag pit stops. I don't know if these guys can make it officially or not on fuel. But we're going to find out. Here's the 5, Alan Dice. We haven't seen a lot of passing here tonight, and that's not like Richmond. The setup's got to be really tight. You're probably going to have to see some physical movement, some of these guys, to get them up out of the way. And it's a very big possibility as we get through closer to the late stages of this race. You're going to see a lot of cars getting bumper to bumper and maybe move each other. But there's your top 5. Cody Atkins looking pretty good. Rolling Rock Machine has had some glimpses of top 5s here, and there's the pass. There's what we were talking about. The 42 finally finding a hole. Gets his nose in there. Can he complete it, though? So Kevin McGarvey up to Kyle McGarvey, I apologize, up to P4. Shut up, girls, you're both pretty. I see you in chat. I hope you guys are enjoying this race. It's been fun to broadcast it thus far. 3 cautions. No lead changes. I know the 31 wants to make that stat up there that's a 0 turn to a 1. Even if it's on the last lap, he wants to do it. '16 to Nick Gardner. Currently being scored in 10th position. Just getting passed by Timmy Emanuele here on the outside. It's Kevin McGarvey behind him in the 00. You can see him going back and forth. The 16, he says, I'm not having, I really want that 9th position back. With that rear end damage on that 16, it's going to be tough for him. 39's a lot cleaner as far as damage goes. Side by side off of turn 4. And Nick Gardner looks like he might get the position here as he goes into 1. We didn't miss it. Cody Atkins cracks the top 5. The 8 machine. Able to get around Alan Dice. Next car on his radar here is the 42 of Kyle McGarvey. So plenty of time for this 8 to get up there in that top 3 if he can do it. Maybe a peek to the inside in 3 and 4. I thought it was going to happen that time around. That potential is really there. Kyle McGarvey losing ground to Jeremiah Vincent. And now Cody Atkins right up on the bumper. Oh boy, I thought we were going to get a chrome horn there for just a second. '21, Justin Carey's going to crack up into the top 6. And he just gets around Alan Dice. I think the 5 car is fading out a little bit. We talked about that on the restart. He's lost about 4 positions since this race went green. Was up in that 3rd spot. Now being scored in 7th. And Eric Lambert in the 19. He's on his way now. Currently being scored 8th. I think he has the potential to get a top 5 after this recovery. Nick Gardner, what a shame. Up there in the 3rd spot at one point in this race. Now struggling to stay in the top 10. That damage, though. Kudos to him for keeping it out there, and that's what you have to do. You got to maintain points. That's what the 16 team has talked about. You just got to salvage the day at this point. Talk about the line. Let's watch really carefully for one lap here. The 98. Show you what he's doing. His entry into the corner when he's getting on the throttle, off the throttle. He is having braking inputs currently that you can't see. But if you kind of get a feel for the way he's coming into these corners, there's one lap around this place. Now let's ride on board with the 31 and show you what he's doing. A lot later apex for the 31. I'll tell you what, there's still plenty of time. We got over 50 laps to go. Alex Pelican hasn't lost sight of Anthony Pelican. It's just going to be a matter of if those tires fall off. Did Alex save enough to start ticking away that gap? He's kept it under 5/10. But man, is it tough to be consistent here. Cody Atkins caught up to Jeremiah Vincent. Less than 1/10 of a second separating these two now. But this is for the 3rd spot. Atkins showing a lot of speed late in this race. This is for a podium interview, so you know the 8 car. I don't think he's had one yet this season. He's trying to get up there in that 3rd spot. I just don't know. Looked like he was getting close and then got up in that air, and he's fallen back a couple tenths now. So we're sitting here looking at a shuffle of cars that have been fighting in and out of the top 3 all day long. Some of the names you're familiar with that usually do good at the 1.5 miles, but some of these guys that are short track specialists. We've got Cody Atkins, apparently, Jeremiah Vincent. These guys have been decent at our 1.5 miles, but really showing a lot of strength here tonight. Able to get up in the top 5 and pull away from the rest of this field. We're talking about 2 seconds away from 5th place Kyle McGarvey. And that's a pretty big gap here as far as Richmond goes. I think if you stretch it much more than that, though, you're looking at burning up the tires. And McGarvey's pretty good about saving them. He's going to have Justin Carey maybe on the door within the next 10 to 15 laps. Carey looks like he's braking a lot softer. Not as aggressive to the bottom as the rest of these guys. So we've got 3 cars out of this race. Dennis Faircloth, Kyle Payne, Robert Gilmore taking it behind the wall for tonight. Last car on the lead lap, the 54, Daniel Cunningham, being scored 12th right now. And then the 16 of Nick Gardner, who was up in that top 10 a moment ago. Might have came down pit road, I'm not sure. I don't think he did. But he's fallen back out of the top 10. There's no one behind him. He's got Kevin McGarvey in front of him. About a 1.5 second gap. Not sure what happened to the 16, but he has lost a ton of time. That machine's probably just not handling now with that damage. Anthony Pelican just putting on a clinic of a show. 158 laps. We're coming up on 159. Alex Pelican trying to take it away from him. Jeremiah Vincent shrinking that lead down just a little bit. But 1.7 seconds. We get to the later stage here. We've got less than 40 to go. I'm not sure if anybody has anything for the 98 team. They've just been perfect all race long. Haven't had to do green flag pit stops, so you can take that variable away. But even if we did, I think it would have been another dominant performance for the 98 car. And just really love to see one of these guys, at any point, give him a run for his money. I know that they've invested a lot of time and they practice a lot, but I tell you what, it's just I'm running out of things to talk about. The 98 team. What do we say? What do we say? They're just a normal thing to watch here. And here at Richmond, it's one of those tracks where if you're good at it, you're going to excel. It's similar to Bristol. Very short, small. Iowa would be, I think, in the same category. If you can get on the brakes and get off the corners without spinning out. New Hampshire's another one where I kind of put that in the, you're using the brakes a lot. There's a very fine line that you have to run. And right now, Anthony Pelican, to a T, has this down. Hasn't made a mistake yet. We've got another car clipping the wall somewhere on the track. I'm not sure who that was. Timing and scoring not really showing. I think it might have been the 8 of Cody Atkins. Atkins was right up there on the bumper of Vincent a few moments ago. Thought we were going to have a race shape up. He's lost about 0.6 of a second now. Thought Lambert might have something for him here soon, but he's kind of quieted down. Next car in front of him is Alan Dice in the 7th spot. Let me ask you this, chat. Are you hypnotized yet? Stay with me. We still have another 35 laps left to complete. And Anthony Pelican's going to do it. If we had to pick a winner, I think it's a pretty fair bet here on the 98. I would take those odds 100%. You suddenly have an urge to buy a McRib. Is this your doing? Yeah, check's in the mail. McDonald's probably gonna send me something for that. Subliminal messaging. I can't guarantee that it's 100% my fault. Why would you want to eat that though? A McRib? Oh. Bovine, we got to get you some real ribs. I did pulled pork over the weekend. That was good. McRib, I got to be pretty hard up. I'd like to thank my neighbor for ruining food from any restaurant ever. After teaching me how to smoke and prepare meat, nothing restaurant prepared. Even if it's a steakhouse or a smokehouse, it still just doesn't do it justice. This field's starting to bunch back up a little bit. 98 car starting to lose some ground. 31. Alex Pelican has down to about 0.2 of a second. He's been relentless lap after lap. And this is probably the longest green flag run we've had thus far. I think the other stint was about 50 so laps. This one's went about 60. And this gap has shrunk down. We've also got the 9 of Vincent, who's got it down to about a second gap. So these boys have been working really hard to maintain that gap. Now they're starting to chip away at it. It's a pretty basic recipe, honestly. Prepped it the night before. 2 pork butts, 6 pounds each. Smoked them for 4 hours with cherry and some peach. Put them in the oven at 400 for about 4 more hours, and probably about 5 hours. Come out excellent. Butcher's all-purpose seasoning. Wrapped them up when I put them in the oven with brown sugar and butter. Butter is your friend. And if you don't think so, that is not what I'm about. If you say that's not healthy, I am not here to help you lose weight. That is not what barbecue is. So Justin Carey running in the 6th position. Alan Dice back in 7th. These guys have been kind of flip-flopped. Alan Dice was up in the top 3. He's leveled off. He was losing a ton of ground. He's now kind of maintained the 19 of Lambert. Man, I've been watching. I've been waiting for the 19 to get up there and challenge Dice, but everybody's kind of maintained these gaps. You look down through the scoring chart, we've seen that 3 tenths, 4 tenths between the leaders. 1.7 now to Vincent, which is that was shrinking a moment ago, but now Vincent's back to almost 2 seconds. I'm not sure what's happening. If the 98 had a couple hiccups and now is leveled off again. Atkins has fallen really far back from the 9. And Timmy Emanuele being scored 2 laps down, so the 39 machine off pace for a few. He's going to be scored 12. Daniel Cunningham in the 54 is out of the top 10. And I want to say some of these guys might be saving fuel. I hear some clutching going on. So we're playing some fuel strategy. 54 machine clutched it going into 1 and 2. Let's see if he does it again. Yep, he's coasting it into 1 and 2 pretty deep. So they might be trying to make it. They might not have enough fuel to go all the way to the end. But this clutching, he's got the 98 of Pelican. Both Pelicans are right up on him. The 54 might consider just pitting because these guys aren't saving at all, and if they can't make it, they're going to have to pit too. Let's see if we can find any other cars that are saving fuel. The 54 has the same stint on tires. 78 laps for these guys this time around. Emanuele going to get one of those laps back. He must have pitted. I think Emanuele went down pit road. He knew he wasn't going to make it, so interesting strategy here for the 39 team, but he's probably going to get one of those back, and he might be scored up in the top 3, top 4 with the short pit. Because he's got a lot more speed than the rest of this field, and they might not have enough time to get back to him. If the 54 can make it, I don't think he's going to get the win, but He definitely has the potential to crack the top 5. We've got about 13 laps left in this thing. We did not hear the 98 clutching a single time. And he's been out front in clean air, burning a lot more fuel than some of these guys that were deeper in the pack, maybe drafting a little bit. This field starting to bunch back up. Jeremiah Vincent has caught up to Alex Pelican, and this top 3 is all within a second of each other. 12 laps to go as they cross the line. Through the field right quick, you got Anthony Pelican, Alex Pelican, Jeremiah Vincent. Back here to Kyle McGarvey in the 42 in 4th position. Justin Carey in 5th spot. Alan Dice back up to 6th. Eric Lambert 7th. Double zero. Kevin McGarvey running 8th. Nick Gardner 9th position. And the double zero misses the pit road entrance. Double zero has to tow. He doesn't have enough fuel to go back around one more time. And that just ends the day for the double zero. Cody Atkins must have hit pit road. The 54 must have hit it as well. The 54 is out here clutching it. He went a lap down the normal way. Cody Atkins did it down pit road. How do these guys have enough fuel? I don't know. Some of these guys are completely out. Double zero, they were on the same stint. Cody Atkins out there with the freshest tires right now. We're talking about an 80-lap difference on these tires. Cody's probably going to pass some of these guys like they're sitting still. Kyle McGarvey hits pit road. .42 down and away, fuel only. Five laps left. Anthony Pelican looks like he's got enough. I don't think he's clutched it in a single time on this run. I'm looking here with 5 to go. He's not saving at all. He's pulled away from Anthony Pelican entirely. And Jeremiah Vincent right up on the rear bumper now of the 31. Even if they wanted to save, I don't think they can. 9 car gets by. He's down to the inside in 1 and 2. A little bit of contact on the exit of 4. They touch for just a second there, but Jeremiah is able to clear him and get by. 3 laps left. 98, Anthony Pelican staying out. We've had a few different guys elect to pit. Cody Atkins, Kyle McGarvey, Timothy Emanuele. They weren't going to make it on fuel. Emanuele has not cycled through because some of these guys just haven't pitted. And I don't hear the 98 letting up any more than anyone else. And a yellow comes out.
A little far away from your mouth again. Just double check that for us, please.
We're going to have a green-white checker. This completely mixes up the field. We were at 2 laps to go. And the 98 has to let the pace car come up. These guys are definitely going to be short now. Still trying to figure out where this happened on the track. There's the 8, Cody Atkins. There it is right there. Let's go back another 20 seconds and see if we can figure out what happened. Atkins was looking a little loose coming off of turn 2. Oh, he locks it up going into 1. Drifts almost the entire quarter. 42 of Kyle McGarvey has to dodge it there. And that's caution number 5. Number 4, actually. And this just shakes everything up. Cody Atkins going to take that long journey down pit road. Going to do a lot of service to that machine. This is going to mix things up. These boys did get the benefit of being able to pit without losing time on the track. But I think if I had an extra set of tires, I would have taken them right here. We're going to have a couple wave arounds here in front of these boys. 39 and 42 are going to go by the pace car when we double up. Bovine, you cursed him. All right, well, I was thinking about pulling somebody up, but these guys are probably talking strategy, and I don't want to interfere with that too much. I got a lot of things to reconsider here with a green-white checkers, so we're going to leave these boys as they are and just sit back and watch it unfold. BTDY Contender Series. It took it a minute for the action to brew. It was starting to get stagnant. We had these guys all spread out, but here we are. We're gonna restart with 2 laps to go. Green, white, checkered, and this field is getting bunched back up. '98 of Anthony Pelican. Alex Pelican on the outside in the 31. Justin Carey up to the 3rd spot. Alan Dice back up in the top 5. And Eric Lambert in that 19. Here we go. Geico restart zone. Green flag is out. There goes Anthony Pelican trying to run away. 21 slips the tires. 3 wide with the 9, and he hits the outside wall. No caution. We're staying green. Now we got another touch. The 54, the 16, hard into the outside wall. We had a number of things going on there for a second. Let's take another look. Caution number 5 this time by. So let's first take a look. We had the 9 and the 16 on this restart. They're going to go 3 wide. And we saw that happen just out the edge of your screen. We're going to get a close-up of it this time. The inside line didn't go. You see the 21 of Carey just doesn't get it going. So the 9 decides to take it 3 wide. He gets pinned up into the outside wall. Then you have the 8 of Atkins taking advantage of that. Then this right here between the 16 and the 54. 54 has to check up hard. And he just gets to the inside of Nick Gardner. They both take a ride to the outside wall. So our second green-white checker. '98 of Anthony Pelican has to do it again. And Eric Lambert picks up a position there before the yellow. Able to work that outside. 19 has a massive recovery in it. I called it. He's up in the top 5. Good chance here for the 19 to get one. But can anybody pass the 98? He's getting such a great restart. Every single time. Break for the 16 to Nick Gardner. He's going to be back in the 8th position. He's banged up. The 5 of Dice is banged up. The 54 Cunningham has the whole front clip missing. The whole nose off that machine. Atkins has a little bit of damage on the front end. So we had a lot of clean looking cars, but that has changed here in the last 4 or 5 laps of this race. Some of these guys that decided to end it early, that list is getting bigger and bigger. Kevin McGarvey, Dennis Faircloth, Kyle Payne, and Robert Gilmore out for the night. Cody Atkins, the last car on the track. Lights are out on the pace car. We're getting ready to go green one last time. If it ends here under yellow, it's over. 98 of Anthony Pelican getting ready to hit the loud pedal. One more time here. Pace car is off. Field bunches up, and there they go. These guys trying to get a jump. Didn't work. Green flag is out. 2 to go. Anthony Pelican down to the bottom. Alex Pelican on the outside. Justin Carey picking it up in 3rd, but he's got the 19 of Lambert on the outside still. Drag racing down the backstretch. Lambert way up high, but here he goes for the run. Can he get it off of 4? Still side by side. The 9, Vincent, gets loose. White flag. Eric Lambert to the bottom. Nobody has anything for Anthony Pelican. He's maintained the gap, and the 19 gets loose off of 2. Thought he was going to lose a position there. Can he hold on to it out of 4? Anthony Pelican across the line. Race winner here tonight. 2nd position. Going to go to Alex Pelican. Great finish for him. And then what a recovery by your 3rd place finisher. Able to get by Justin Carey. That's Eric Lambert in the 19. And they're just total carnage. They're crashing these things. They're done with them. All right, post-race interviews coming up right after this. Your top three going to be brought up into the booth. We'll be right back.
Sailor Tarot Magic is the spot to get a reading from Sally, an intuitive healer and tarot reader. Known as the Nurturing Reader at New Jersey Street Fairs, you can also check out our YouTube channel for lunar and astro readings, as well as our Instagram for live weekly readings. Her rates are affordable, and you will leave with a newfound perspective. Sally is now offering an introductory class on tarot cards and intuition, and is available for parties. Call or text 732-314-0777 to schedule your reading today. BTDY Contender Series finishes another one here at Richmond Motor Speedway. Sailor Terror Magic victory lane with Anthony Pelican, and my God, it was a finish. 2 green-white checkers there at the end. He held on to it.
Yeah, definitely not something I wanted to see. Didn't want the field bunch back up. Definitely wanted a long run. Obviously not one saving fuel, but a long run that we could have ran the whole way would have been awesome.
What we were seeing there at the end, some of these guys were clutching it. A couple guys had elected to come down pit road, but it looked like the 98 team had figured out the fuel strategy. Were you guys going to make it to the very end of this thing if we stay green?
Yeah, I had about 3 laps of fuel extra there at the end, hoping that we didn't get a green-white checker. But when we did, I figured everybody was coming for tires anyway, so I just went ahead and pitted.
Well, you were on point there with the pit stops. You made a bunch of great calls here tonight, and you dominated this race. We even took it into overtime. We only needed you to lead 200, and you led 211 here tonight, Anthony.
Yeah, Richmond's probably one of my favorite tracks on iRacing other than Phoenix, so I figured we were going to have a pretty good night here.
Well, next week we're looking at the Road America track, and we've talked about what we're going to see. You've got Alex that's really good, and you know that you boys have been really dominant. What are we looking at next week?
Personally, for me, keeping all 4 tires on the track would be a win.
Well, fair enough. Yeah, it's always good when you can keep it shiny side up, for sure.
Yeah, that's the goal for next week.
Well, we appreciate your time, Anthony. A dominant performance. We thought Homestead was going to be your highlight reel of the season, but then you come out here to a track that a lot of guys probably hate, and you just put on a clinic. I can't believe what I saw. I'm astounded at the dominance of this team. Do you have anybody you'd like to thank for tonight's race?
Yeah, I'd like to thank my wife and my 2 daughters for their support. I'd like to thank all the guys at Dialed In Racing for being a great team. I'd like to thank you for putting on an awesome broadcast. Hopefully everybody comes back and keeps watching. I'd like to thank everybody at BTDY for putting on a great league. And lastly, I'd like to thank Alex for racing me clean there at the green-white checkers there at the end.
10-4, man. Well, we look forward to talking to you next week, and we'll see you then.
See you then.
There's your race winner, and now your second place finisher. We take Alex Pelican up here into the booth. We caught up with him on pit road. Alex, man, that green white checker, you guys had to pit. A lot of things got mixed up there with 2 laps to go, but you're able to hang on to second place.
Yeah, it was definitely a hectic one there with having to save fuel, and honestly, very lucky we got that caution because I would have been running out at the line.
We were talking to Anthony. He said he was about 2 or 3 laps in the green, but you apparently it was gonna come down to that green white checker to just threw everything off. So you had to come down pit road. Did you take tires on that last stop?
Yeah, I did. I took a little fuel out, thinking maybe it'd be quicker, but it wasn't.
I mean, taking a little fuel out, it just a 4-tire stop is a 4-tire stop. Unfortunately for some of these guys, they got back on the lead lap, and we had a mix up there in that first green white checkered. I know one of your teammates got involved in that. He had an off night tonight, but you held on, second place, and I know you're looking hungry. Road America, that fits in your wheelhouse. What do we got in store for next week?
Oh, I don't know, honestly. Maybe we'll hopefully we'll just stay on track and keep it clean.
Well, looking forward to it. Alex, do you have anybody you'd like to thank for that solid second place for performance tonight?
Yeah, I'd like to thank the guys over at Dialed In Racing, Anthony and Nick, for running tonight and helping me out as much as they do. Like to thank you for broadcasting the league, and like to thank everybody with the league that runs and puts it on so we can come out and race. And congrats to Eric on the 3rd place finish.
10-4, man. Well, we're going to catch up with him on pit road, and we thank you for your time.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, 3rd place finisher coming down pit road. Eric Lambert finally gets up here in the broadcast booth. It's been a minute, buddy.
Speedway.
What is it?
I said, and it's not a super speedway. I got
And
a top 3, not at a super speedway. I'm happy.
Well, I tell you what, man, you had a great performance there at the end, but the start of this race was just not the way you wanted to start. Did you miss the grid? I wasn't sure what happened to you, but you went a lap down and recovered.
I lap 1 come off of 4, and I got a little happy on the throttle and decided to mow the grass. It looked a little long there, and I spent the rest of my race trying to recover.
That green white checkered even helped more with that recovery. Some of these guys spun the restart. You had Justin Carey on the inside, and all the guys behind you that had potential to maybe pass you if they win another lap got caught up. And what I think maybe, is there a rule against 3 wide before the line?
I think you cannot swap lanes before the start finish line, but I was just paying attention. I was trying to stay hooked to the 31's bumper there, and I accidentally tagged him coming to the start finish line, but it didn't hurt.
Yeah, we saw a lot of things happening there right behind you, and you benefited greatly just being able to pick them off and get to that position. So kudos to you being in the right place at the right time, Eric.
Yeah, it was a heck of a night, I'll tell you that much. Number 19 Supra though, I'm glad I brought her home 3 or P3.
Well, we're looking at Road America next week, and I know a lot of guys have been dreading this. It's a road course. What do you got in store for us next time?
See, Road America is one of my favorite road courses on the sim. I just can't drive a stock car there.
They are a handful.
Yeah, I love road racing. I cannot understand stock cars on a road course. It for some reason. I mean, myself, Cody Atkins, Safe Ferris when he was here, and another buddy of mine. We won the 24-hour Daytona. I get really good finishes in the GT cars and LMP cars. I cannot wrap my head around a stock car.
Well, I can tell you, I've struggled there myself personally. I'm not trying to make it about me, but it's it's a different animal when you take 3,400 pounds and try to throw it into a corner at $120. It just doesn't work.
Yeah. The dog leg on the super stretch, as I like to call it, that'll be the calamity going down to Canada corner. I think that's where we'll see all the calamity, to be honest with you.
Well, you're coming home third. Do you have anybody you'd like to thank for this recovery and this performance tonight?
Everybody at VMS, Jeremiah, Vincent, and all them guys. Everybody at Simulators Anonymous Racing. The Simulators Anonymous community, guys. If y'all need to join a great gaming community, check us out. SimulatorsAnonymous.com. My kids, Ella and Hunter, Daddy loves y'all. Can't wait to see y'all at Christmas time. And last but not least, if you notice the paint scheme I'm running tonight, it's a Veterans Day car. I'll be running it pretty much rest of the season, because the season ends at the end of the month. But I want to thank every veteran out there who has ever laced their boots, put on a uniform, and defended this great country. Love you guys from one veteran to another. I do. I honestly love every single one of y'all.
10-4 man, I couldn't have said that better myself, but we appreciate your time, Eric, and we look forward to Road America. Maybe we'll get to talk to you next week.
Yeah, let's see if I don't ball up the 19.
Well, good luck.
All right, later, buddy.
All right, there's the 19, third place finisher tonight. It was a bunch of calamity, as he called it. Here in the last restart, we saw a lot of cars shuffling all over the place, but at the end of the day, the 98 able to bring it home. We're going to burn it down with him one more time before we let you go. And leave you with this.
Oh, big wiggle.
Here comes Lyle using the bottom south car closing in behind.
And here comes Milo. Big run out of 4. He's going to be there.
Tristan Martin's there. Cannot count out the 37.
Oh! Cabot, where did he come from? Here comes Swack.
A push for the 33.
It's a drag race.
The